Did you know that millions of people take vitamins every single day, yet their hearts are still getting weaker hour by hour? There's a truth very few people ever talk about. Vitamin A isn't the best choice for someone with heart failure. In fact, if taken the wrong way, it can actually put more strain on the heart. But here's the surprising part. There are 3 other vitamins quietly recommended by cardiologists around the world that help the heart stay stronger, reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and even boost heart muscle endurance. They're not as famous as vitamin A. They're not expensive. But they might just be your heart's hidden secret weapons, helping it heal, beat stronger, and work more efficiently every single day. If you or someone you love has heart failure, feels tired or short of breath, or simply wants to protect your heart after 50, then stay with me until the end of this video. Because by understanding just these 3 vitamins, you could completely change your heart health, starting today. 1. Vitamin D, the light of the heart. I want you to imagine a cold winter morning somewhere in America. The sky is gray, sunlight thin as silk, and you're sitting by the window with a warm cup of coffee, watching the mist drift outside. Your heart is beating, slowly, heavily, as if it too is missing a little bit of light. Many people think a weak heart is just about age, overwork, or bad genes. But there's one small, quiet factor that doctors all over the world are starting to pay more attention to: vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin, the vitamin of life. You might say, "Oh, I go outside, I eat fine, I'm sure I'm not low." But you'd be surprised. Over 60% of adults in the US, especially those over 50, are deficient in vitamin D without realizing it. And for someone with heart failure, that can make all the difference between a heart that still has strength to beat and one that's slowly running out of energy. I remember a patient named Robert, 68 years old, a retired carpenter with calloused hands and a gentle, quiet nature. When he came to see me, he said, "Doctor, lately I can barely walk a few minutes without stopping to catch my breath. My heart feels like it's being squeezed from the inside." We ran every test. Heart, blood pressure, cholesterol, everything looked fine. Except one thing. His vitamin D was way below normal. He laughed. "Doc, what does that have to do with my heart?" The truth? A lot. Vitamin D works like a tiny key that unlocks hundreds of essential reactions in your body, from calcium absorption and hormone regulation to muscle function, including the most important muscle of all, your heart. When you're low on vitamin D, your heart muscle gets tired. It struggles to pump efficiently, reacts poorly to stress, and inflammation builds up. And inflammation is the hidden enemy of every heart. Research from Harvard and the American Heart Association shows that people with low vitamin D levels have a 30 to 40% higher risk of heart failure than those with healthy levels. Scary, isn't it? Something as small as sunlight could change the very strength of your heartbeat. But here's the real problem. We're living in the age of artificial sunlight. We spend our lives indoors, in cars, offices, staring at screens. Those gentle morning rays that once touched our skin and created natural vitamin D are now a luxury few of us truly get. People tell me, "I go out every day, I shop, I walk around." But if you live in a cold state, have long winters, wear heavy coats, or always use high SPF sunscreen, your body may barely produce any vitamin D at all. That's why, according to the CDC, Americans over 60 are the most likely to be deficient in vitamin D, and ironically enough, that's also the group most at risk for heart failure. Vitamin D doesn't just strengthen the heart muscle. It helps regulate blood pressure, stabilize blood sugar, and reduce the risk of stroke. A 2021 study of over 10,000 Americans found that those with vitamin D levels below 20 ng per ml had twice the risk of dying from heart disease compared to those with healthy levels. See, the heart doesn't just need love. It needs light. Real light. From the sun, from the sky, from the natural energy we've slowly forgotten to let in. I'll never forget the day Robert came back 6 months later. He said, "Doc, I don't know if it's the medicine, the walks, or that morning sun you told me about, but I feel better. Every morning, I sit on my porch for 10 minutes, watch the sunrise, and my chest feels warm again." Maybe it was just his imagination, but to me, that was proof. Sometimes healing begins with the smallest things. A little light, a little vitamin D, a simple habit done every day. I know many older folks feel anxious when they hear the word vitamin. It sounds complicated: doses, pills, advertisements. But here's what I tell them. Vitamin D isn't magic, but it is part of the foundation. It gives your heart the fuel it needs to keep beating strong and steady. If you can't get outside often, you can find vitamin D in foods like salmon, egg yolks, or fortified milk, or take a supplement, but only under your doctor's guidance. The most important thing? Get your levels checked, because too much vitamin D can harm your kidneys and bones. It's not the more the better, it's about balance. I once read a line from a British cardiologist that stuck with me. The heart doesn't beat just because of muscle. It beats because of energy. And vitamin D is part of that energy, the kind that comes from sunlight, from warmth, from life itself. So to everyone watching this right now, especially if you've been fighting heart failure for years, I want you to remember this. Sometimes the first step toward healing your heart is simply stepping into the light. Some people are tired, some are losing hope, and some feel their bodies growing weaker without really knowing why. I want to tell you this: hope is still there. And sometimes hope begins with something small: a vitamin, a quiet morning on the porch, a habit you never thought could matter. Give your heart a chance to bathe in sunlight, not just with light itself, but with the belief that your body can heal. Because I've seen it again and again, hearts that once seemed weary and worn slowly finding their rhythm again just through small, gentle changes like these. So, if you're watching this right now, I have a question for you. When was the last time your skin felt the touch of real sunlight? Today, step outside, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Let the morning light brush against your face. Take a deep breath and listen to your heart. You might feel something. In those steady beats, a quiet reminder that your heart still has strength, still has a chance, and is still waiting for you to treat it with just a little more care each day. In the next part of this video, we'll talk about vitamin B1, a nutrient most people overlook, yet it acts like the power generator of your heart. But before we go there, remember this: sunlight doesn't just warm your skin, it can warm your soul. And sometimes the simplest things are the strongest medicine we'll ever have. 2. Vitamin B1, the energy source for a tired heart. I want you to imagine something for a moment. A car, shining on the outside, engine perfectly intact, but without fuel, it stops. Your heart is just like that. It might still beat, still keep you alive, but sometimes it's running empty. And when that happens, you don't just feel tired, you feel drained from the inside out. You take a few steps and lose your breath. Climbing the stairs feels like a mountain. Some mornings you wake up with your heart pounding fast, heavy breathing, even though you haven't done anything yet. I've heard that story many times.
And often, the silent culprit is vitamin B1, also called thiamine. One of my patients, Linda, 72, from Ohio, once told me, "I think I'm depressed, doctor. I don't want to do anything. My body feels heavy, my heart weaker every day." Tests showed she had a severe vitamin B1 deficiency. The surprising part? She ate well, took her meds, but one of her heart medications, a diuretic, was flushing B1 out of her body every single day. She had no idea that within months, her heart's energy supply was running on fumes. After we started B1 supplementation, just a few weeks later, she said, "Doctor, I can walk around the yard again. I don't feel like my heart's about to stop anymore." A small change, but a real rebirth. Most people don't realize this. Vitamin B1 is the power generator of heart cells. It helps convert carbs, sugars, and starches into usable energy for the heart. Without enough B1, your heart is like an engine trying to run with no fuel. The result? Weak heart muscles, poor pumping, and eventually heart failure. That's why clinical studies show many heart failure patients, especially those on diuretics, have much lower B1 levels than normal. The American Journal of Medicine reported that nearly 30% of heart failure patients are B1 deficient, and when treated, their heart function improved noticeably within weeks. You might ask, how could I be low in B1? I eat well. Here's why. 1. Diuretics like furosemide or Lasix help remove excess fluid but also wash out B1 through urine. 2. Modern diets heavy in refined carbs like white rice, pasta, and bread contain little thiamine. 3. Digestive issues, liver problems, or regular alcohol use also reduce absorption. Over time, your heart quietly slips into an energy shortage, and you don't even know it. I once told a patient, "Your heart is the most loyal machine in your body. It works day and night, even while you sleep. But even the toughest machine needs fuel." So how can you get more B1? Start with food: whole grains, lean meats, fish, beans, and sunflower seeds. But if you're on diuretics or feeling weak, short of breath, or fatigued, ask your doctor about testing and supplements. The doses are usually low and safe, but everyone absorbs differently.
I remember another patient asked me, "Doctor, I take so many meds. Why is my heart still weak?" I said, "Because medicine treats the symptoms, but energy, real heart energy, comes from within." She was quiet for a long time, then whispered, "I never thought about that." And it's true, most of us don't. We focus on fixing the signs, not the source. We take pills to slow the heartbeat, to lower pressure, but forget the heart still needs to be nourished. That's what vitamin B1 does. It feeds your heart from the inside. Many cardiologists now recommend checking B1 levels regularly, especially for long-term diuretic users. One German study found that daily B1 supplementation improved heart performance by 13% in just 4 weeks. It might sound small, but for a weak heart, that 13% could mean the difference between exhaustion and being able to walk outside again. I once saw a 74-year-old man, Charles, who needed a wheelchair because of heart failure. After consistent B1 and light rehab, a few months later, he was walking in the park with his granddaughter. He told me, "I never thought one tiny vitamin could make me feel alive again." That's why I believe recovery often starts with the simplest things. Vitamin B1 doesn't just strengthen your heart, it clears your mind, eases stress, and improves memory. Everything in the body is connected. When the heart is strong, blood flows better, your brain gets more oxygen, and your spirit lifts. I once told a patient, if vitamin D is the sunlight of the heart, then vitamin B1 is the electricity that makes that light shine. And I still believe that. If you're listening now, take a moment. Place your hand on your chest. Feel that rhythm, that steady beat. That's your heart, still fighting, still working, still faithful. Maybe it's tired, but it's not giving up. So please, don't let it run out of fuel. Feed it with sunlight, vitamin D, with energy, vitamin B1, and with faith that your body can heal, no matter your age. I'll end this part with a quote from Dr. Paul Dudley White, mentor to President Eisenhower. "What's good for the heart always begins with small things: a healthy meal, a peaceful sleep, a timely vitamin." And he was right, because it's not age that makes the heart grow old, it's neglect. So today, remember, your heart has been beating for you every second, every day for decades. Millions of beats without a break. It deserves your care, not with expensive pills, but with the simple, gentle attention you give to the things you truly love.
3. Vitamin K, the silent gatekeeper of your heart and blood vessels. Have you ever wondered why some people in their 70s still have flexible arteries, a strong heart, and light steps, while others in their 50s already face clogged arteries, stents, or heart surgery? The answer isn't just diet or exercise. Sometimes it lies with a silent guardian inside your body, one that keeps your blood flowing freely and makes sure calcium stays where it belongs, in your bones, not in your arteries. That guardian is vitamin K. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Vitamin K? Isn't that just for blood clotting? Yes, it helps your blood clot when you're injured. But its real role goes far beyond that. Over years of working with older heart patients, I noticed something striking. Many of those with weak hearts, hardened arteries, and calcium buildup all shared one thing in common. They were low in vitamin K, especially vitamin K2. I remember one patient, Mr. Henry, 74, a retired mechanic from Texas. He drank calcium-enriched milk every day, afraid of osteoporosis. But after a few years, his scans revealed something shocking. The calcium wasn't only in his bones, it had migrated into his artery walls, narrowing his coronary vessels. He looked at me and asked, "Doctor, how can calcium from my bones end up hurting my heart?" I smiled and told him, "Because calcium needs a guide, and that guide is vitamin K2. Without it, calcium gets lost, and your heart pays the price." Here's the simple truth. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium. Vitamin K2 tells your body where to put it. Without vitamin D, you won't absorb enough calcium. Your bones weaken. Without vitamin K, your body absorbs calcium but deposits it in your arteries instead of your bones. Over time, that makes your arteries stiff and narrow, raising your risk of heart failure. That's why many recent studies, especially from Europe and Japan, now emphasize that vitamin D and K2 should always go together. In a 10-year study from the Netherlands, people with higher levels of vitamin K2 in their blood had a 57% lower risk of dying from heart disease compared to those who were deficient. Think about that. One small nutrient can make such a massive difference. Yet vitamin K, particularly K2, is one of the most commonly deficient vitamins among Americans over 60. Why? Because K2 mainly comes from naturally fermented foods, aged cheese, natto, a traditional Japanese fermented soybean dish, and organ meats or egg yolks from grass-fed animals. And today, most of us eat processed foods that have lost nearly all of their natural K2. To make matters worse, many seniors take blood thinners like warfarin, which block vitamin K's action entirely, silently weakening arteries over time. I once met a woman 79 years old, Margaret, who said, "Doctor, I've been on blood thinners for 5 years and now my legs hurt, feel cold and it's hard to walk." Tests showed her arteries were heavily calcified. Her vitamin K levels almost zero. I told her gently, "Your medication is vital for preventing clots, but it also locks vitamin K out. Right now, your blood vessels are like pipes lined with limescale." She was quiet for a while, then asked softly, "Can I ever clean that out?" I said, "We can't erase it completely, but we can stop it from getting worse by restoring vitamin K2 and adjusting your diet."
A year later, she returned for a checkup. Her artery scans showed no new calcification. The damage had stopped progressing. Sometimes, just stopping the decline is already a victory. Vitamin K comes in two main forms, K1 and K2. K1 is found in leafy greens, spinach, kale, broccoli. K2 is the special one. It helps direct calcium into bones while keeping it out of arteries. K2 itself comes in two key forms, MK4 and MK7. MK7, found in fermented foods like natto, stays in your body longer and is more efficiently absorbed. I once told a patient, if there's one vitamin that keeps your heart young and flexible, it's vitamin K2. Because arteries stay healthy only when they stay soft and elastic, and K2 is what keeps them that way. Many people believe that taking calcium and vitamin D is enough. But without K2, that combination can be dangerous. It's like pouring concrete without building walls. The calcium spills everywhere, and the first place it hardens is inside your arteries. So remember this, calcium isn't the problem. Vitamin D isn't the problem. The missing piece, the one that guides calcium safely, is vitamin K2. That's why more cardiologists today recommend supplements combining vitamin D3 and K2, a perfect pairing that helps your body both absorb and distribute calcium wisely. A 2022 study from the British Heart Foundation found that daily vitamin K2 supplementation could slow arterial calcification by up to 50% in older adults at high cardiovascular risk. 50%, a result most expensive drugs could never achieve. And the best part is, vitamin K2 isn't rare, isn't costly, it's just overlooked. I know that in your 60s or 70s, many of you hesitate to go to the doctor. You're afraid of bad news, of discovering something new to worry about. But you know what? The goal isn't to avoid illness, it's to understand your body. When you understand, you can adjust. When you adjust, you can live healthier, longer, and more peacefully. Vitamin K teaches us something profound. Everything in your body needs balance. Too little, your arteries harden. Too much, your blood can't clot properly. Just like life itself, not too much, not too little, just enough and at the right time. If you're watching this video, I want to ask you, when was the last time you ate fresh leafy greens or real aged cheese? Because maybe in that simple meal, you're giving your body the gift of vitamin K, the quiet guardian that protects your blood vessels from the wear and tear of time. Start today. A plate of greens, a slice of real cheese, or if needed, a small K2 supplement each morning. No fanfare, no miracle promises, just small, steady steps. And over time, your heart will thank you for it. If vitamin D is the light, and vitamin B1 is the energy, then vitamin K is the path keeper, the one that keeps the road between light and energy open and clear. No more calcium buildup, no more stiff arteries, just a heart, strong, steady, and still warm after all these years. You know, the heart is the only organ that works without rest from the moment you're born until your last breath. It's never taken a day off, never complained. It just beats, quietly, faithfully, keeping you alive. And yet we often forget to love it back. We let stress, cigarettes, salt, fast food, and sleepless nights wear it down. But here's the good news. It's never too late to begin again. You don't need massive changes overnight, just small steps. A glass of warm water in the morning, a 20-minute walk, a plate of vegetables, and maybe a little vitamin your doctor recommends to nourish your heart. Vitamin D, B1, and K, they're not magic. They're quiet builders, laying bricks beneath a tired heart, giving it a foundation to heal again. But above all, the greatest medicine is listening to your body. If you feel more tired than usual, get short of breath climbing stairs, or your heart races unexpectedly, don't ignore it. That's your heart's way of saying, I need your help. I once had a 68-year-old patient who loved gardening but had to stop because he was too exhausted. After proper care and the right nutrition, he told me, "Doctor, I don't need much anymore. Just to wake up and feel my heart beating, that's happiness enough." That sentence stayed with me, because for a heart that has weathered storms, every beat is a blessing. So if you're watching right now, take a moment, place your hand over your chest, feel that rhythm. Be grateful it's still there, still working quietly for you. Start loving your heart today. Give it good sleep, kind food, a smile, and peace in your soul. Because in the end, a healthy heart doesn't just help you live longer, it helps you live deeper and love stronger. Thank you for staying with me till the end of this video. If you found this meaningful, share it with someone you care about, because sometimes one small click might just save another heartbeat.